on our SEC historian. So many big games this week. I'm going to start off with, because I didn't realize the numbers that were put out there regarding the injuries. You know, I commend the commissioner of the SEC, and I don't always do that. I commend Greg Sankey for coming up with the concept that during conference games, we're going to be upfront about injuries. Because coaches are very, I'm trying to think of a great way to put this politically correct. I'm not sure I can find one. They cheat. They just lie. They do. And Greg Sankey made a statement about fake injuries to slow fast tempo teams down. And most people think a lot of the direction of those comments were at Lane Kiffin. So Lane Kiffin, he has 26 people listed on his injury list. There's only like 3 that are out for sure. I want to say there were 6 that were doubtful, 5 or 6, and then a lot of questionables. So is the next thing going to be, do you fine a guy, or do you figure out some sort of thing to punish a person that's really just messing with you? Because that seems what Lane Kiffin is doing in this particular thing. I kind of find it funny. I'll give it to Lane. He makes it interesting down in Oxford, and they got a big game. So we'll talk about that. How about Vandy being so good and Auburn and Kentucky not? All those stories. We will chat with our good friend Ron Higgins. We end our week with the Hall of Famer. That is Jarvis Greer. We'll talk Tigers football. I must say, we had our coaches' meetings yesterday. And I think most coaches approach this way, and they should. They respect the opposition. They worry about the opposition. They see what the opposition's strengths are. They also notice weaknesses, and they'll sort of let us know there's 1 or 2 guys they might try to attack. And so that we know that on the front end to watch that particular matchup. But they usually overestimate what the strengths of the opposition are, and they do that because they know that's critical. They got to win those battles, and they respect that competition. Their value of Rice, which, look, knocked the heck out of Navy with an interim coach, a guy who's 62 years old. Peter Alamar's his name. He took over for Bloomgren, and I think we were all kind of surprised at Bloomgren because, you know, in a season, there's in moments that really sort of decide or don't make it for your team. I'll give you a couple of, for instances, with Memphis at UTSA. Those 4th downs, you make those, it's a different game. There were 3 instances in that game defensively where Memphis almost had a pick, and for various reasons it didn't happen, and that ended up being points for the Roadrunners. Little moments in games that really matter, and there were a lot of those in the Rice games. They're 3-6 that could have been different, maybe to make them 6-3. So the Bloomgren dismissal, I think, was a bit of a surprise, but the point is this: they're on fire. They beat Navy, which you know, beat Memphis. This guy, Alamar, 62 years old, he's the interim head coach. He's got an audition here. He's doing everything he can to get that job. This is his last chance at that age to be a head coach at the Division I collegiate level. They're going to bring everything, and we're going to talk about that with Jarvis Greer. That will end our Thursday. It was fun to watch, as I mentioned, the Grizzlies last night. And I marvel at LeBron. LeBron at 39, almost 40. He's 40 next month. Had 39 points last night. He is all over the place. He was incensed when Ja did the too small sign. So he literally, no call, by the way, literally, he is LeBron, runs over Ja Morant, lowers his shoulder, knocks him to the ground, makes the layup, and does right in the face of Ja the too small. No call. Now, Ja incensed, goes on the other side, and Josh says, I don't give anything to anybody. I don't care if it's LeBron James. He, on the next inbound, he literally runs into the back of LeBron to sort of send a message. Before LeBron can even turn around, whoop, T. And so Ja got the technical but made his point. They're not backing down from anybody. It is unfortunate that he hurt that hamstring, and I really and truly hope that it is not something that is going to linger and be an issue the rest of the month or so, because, man, he makes a difference. He is some kind of fun to watch. Those 2 360 buckets that he had the other night, those were absolutely amazing. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure studio, and I told you this was going to happen. The ultimate game room sale has occurred. That means the big spa sale is gone, but there are spas up to $1,500 off in stock and ready for delivery. Just get there. I-40 and Wooden Road. And what you'll see now, this ultimate game room fall sale, you'll get unreal deals on new pool tables. They are beautiful. They're state-of-the-art. Shuffleboard and arcade games. You can help clear out the overstock of theater seating. All are priced to move, and it's the perfect weather. One of the things that my wife and I like to do, fire pits. Sit outside on the patio. Get the fire pit going. 20 to 30% off on all of those. Just get to I-40 and Wooden Road. They've changed the sale. You can still get spas, but now it's all about the ultimate game room and fall sale at Family Leisure. What a game, as I mentioned last night in FedEx Forum. Let's chat with the TV voice of the Grizzlies. That is Pete Pranica. Pretty darn impressive on a lot of fronts. The ninth game of the year, the intensity that we saw toe-to-toe, from one side to the other, I was pretty impressed this early. Ja and LeBron, what more can you ask for? Good morning.
Good morning. Well, they're two great stars in our league and great competition. And if you want to be the best, you gotta beat the best. And LeBron James at 39 years of age, put up 37 points last night. They really needed that from him, given that Anthony Davis and Rui Hachimura, who are two guys that have absolutely killed the Grizzlies over the years, were not available. But Morant, brought the energy, met LeBron's energy. He brought an edge. He brought a little bit of nastiness, and it was good to see. It got the crowd involved, and that was something that Brevin and I talked about. Can you this season reestablish that home court advantage? And part of that is getting the fans involved. And, if it takes a little trash talk and some spectacular plays, go for it.
I marvel at LeBron. Can't help it. He's the greatest old player to have extended his prime that I've ever seen. I know Gordie Howe lasted forever in hockey, and that was pretty impressive. He actually played with the Suns in his 50s. I think it was WHA at that point when they expanded. But, this guy is still amazing. He had 39 and 39. He's almost 40. That happens next month. It was his 1,500th game, as you made the point on the broadcast. Has anybody ever played? Did Kareem Abdul-Jabbar play in 1,500 games?
I'd have to go back and look. I want to say Stockton is up there. I don't have my notes in front of me.
Yeah.
But Kareem would probably be around that number. But I think 1,500 regular season games is maybe like fourth in NBA history. So Kareem's probably up there. But, what LeBron is doing at his age, how many times, we've been in this business a long time where you've seen a star in the latter years of their careers, they're just kind of hanging on. No, he's not just hanging on. He is so productive, and he's still amazing. And, as we talked about last night, he's had to change his game the way Jason Kidd ended up changing his game, being more of a three-point shooter. And LeBron shot well over 40% last year from three, shooting well over 40% again from three this year. The body is still in good shape, but why why engender the beating if you can make threes, and that's basically how LeBron has been playing lately.
I think he spends $1.5 million. I've seen the breakdown of it on fitness, which pays off because he makes a lot more than that per year, not even counting any kind of endorsements. But what impresses me is guys like, well, you said Stockton, that's a little different, but I've seen big guys